Hello, my friends. If you are someone who finds yourself telling yourself over and over again that you can't do it, you're never going to be slim, you always fail, you're you're useless, you're lazy, if you find yourself telling yourself these things, then this video is for you. This week, I'm going to be here every day to talk to you about a different aspect of willpower and motivation. There's a lot to talk about here because your willpower and your motivation is affected by various different things. There are underlying physiological factors, things like your blood sugars and your hormones, that can really impact how you feel in yourself, your energy levels, and your willpower and motivation. So, we're going to be talking about that to a certain extent and what are the basics, the foundations that you can do to kind of get yourself on an even keel to give you the best chances of being able to implement something consistently and feel really good in yourself. And then there's the mindset side of things, which is equally as important, if not more important, because what we tell ourselves, what we believe, what we've experienced before, all of that very much influences the way that we tackle the next steps, or anything that we do going forwards to try and solve a problem. What we've done before and what we believe about ourselves and how we view the world very much impacts the approach that we take. And unfortunately, you're in this group, and that means that, well, not unfortunately you're in this group, but the fact that you're in this group means that you have a problem. You're probably experiencing stubborn weight and hormonal symptoms, and the fact that you're here struggling with stubborn weight at this point in your life probably means that what you've tried previously either hasn't worked for you or it has worked for you, but now it's not working. And that can really, mess up your head, because it can leave you feeling like, what on earth am I supposed to do? I'm trying really hard. I've tried really hard for a long time and I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not seeing results, and actually all that's happening is I'm feeling worse and worse about myself. I feel guilty, I feel demotivated, I feel useless, and that can make you really miserable and be so frustrating. So all of that can come together, add in the physiological stuff, the cravings and the lack of energy, things like comfort eating or emotional eating, bring all that together, and it's no wonder it can be tricky to get started or be consistent with the approaches that you take. So that's what this week is all about. It's about helping you to be ultra motivated and to address it from not just your mindset, but also physically as well. So where we're starting today is with your belief system. This is the best place to start. It's the most important place to start, because what you believe is so critical to what you will experience, and the steps that you'll take to get to where you want to be. Because if you don't believe that it's possible for you to lose weight or get to your happy weight, or maybe you believe that it's not possible for you to be consistent at anything for long enough to get to your happy weight, whatever that belief might be, there's often that deep-rooted belief that you're not really capable. You may not realise that that's what you believe. Often, these beliefs are very subconscious. But that may well be something that is a deep-rooted belief, and you can kind of tell whether that's what you really believe from the language that you use. So if you find yourself saying things like, I'll never be slim, I'll never be a size 8, You know, and a lot of that might be you being quite realistic and trying not to set yourself up for failure, which is fine. But you know, if you're telling yourself that you'll never lose weight, you'll never lose a stone, you'll never be able to do anything consistently. I can't do that. This is just the way I am. You know, you may want to lose the weight, you may keep trying to lose the weight, but you may well keep telling yourself these things that you can't do it, you won't do it. If you're using that language, then your deep-rooted belief is that you won't do it, you can't do it, and that you know you just won't be able to lose the weight. So that's a problem, because if that's what you believe, then our minds, they really control our behaviours, and they make us behave in a way that fulfills what our beliefs are. You know, the subconscious affects our behaviours to make our beliefs come true. So if you believe that you're not going to lose weight, then guess what? You ain't going to lose weight. Because if you just believe that that's not going to happen, or believe that you're going to fail, then you'll almost certainly fail, because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. However, if you believe that you were going to lose weight, no matter what, you were going to get there. It doesn't matter how hard it's going to be, how long it's going to take, you are going to get there without a shadow of a doubt. If you believe that, then you'll get there. One way or another, you will get there. So what we need to do is we need to change your belief system. And I think a good example of this is just going back to needing to believe that you can do it. A good example is that no billionaire, no Olympian, no person who's at the top of their game got there without fully believing that they were capable of getting there. They had the belief that with the right approach and the right support and with the right amount of effort, that they will get there. So if you can make yourself believe that with the right approach, with the right support and with the right effort, you'll be able to get there, then you will get there. And the way that we make ourselves believe this is we start changing the language that we're using. So one is that we need to stop saying things like, I can't do it, I'll never be slim, blah, 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 whatever it is that you hear yourself saying. And don't, berate yourself for saying these things or thinking these things. Just notice the words that you're using in your head and when you speak, and stop yourself and correct yourself. That's when the transformation happens, is when you consistently correct yourself and you keep telling yourself that I will achieve this, I can and I will achieve this. And if we keep telling ourselves this over and over again, we will start to believe it. We start to condition ourselves that that's the truth, that's what's going to happen. And the more we say it, the more we condition the subconscious mind to believe it. And then when we start believing it, our actions, our behaviours start changing to kind of get all our ducks in a row, if you like, point everything in the right direction so that we actually start taking steps that are going to get us results. So this is the action step for you today. You need to spend some time, and it might just be literally 10 seconds in the morning, 10 seconds in the evening, telling yourself that this is possible for you. And every time you think that it's not possible, that you can't do it, just change that thought process. Stop yourself, correct yourself, and repeat it. And these are called affirmations, and this is where we're conditioning ourselves to believe something new, because what we believe is so powerful. And while we're on the topic of belief, a lot of us feel fear with making changes because we don't fully believe that it's possible. But what if you felt the fear that it isn't going to work, the fear that it might be hard, the fear that whatever it might be. What if you felt the fear and you just did it anyway? Wouldn't that be a relief? Wouldn't it be great if that fear, those concerns, those objections, those reservations, you can accept them, you can see them, you can talk about them, but actually if you just took the action and did it anyway. So reflect on that, reflect on this, and think about the language you're using. Think about, what is it that's keeping you stuck? Are you telling yourself over and over again that you can't do it? And the first thing to think about this week is changing that belief. Keep telling yourself over and over again, you can do this, you deserve it, you will be so happy, you deserve to be happy, and you can get to your comfortable weight. So I hope this has been helpful, and tomorrow I'm going to be back to start going through some of the kind of more physiological stuff, the blood sugars particularly, which can really affect our willpower, with those blood sugars highs and lows and the cravings that come with that. So I'll be back tomorrow to talk you through that, and in the meantime, practice those affirmations. Thanks everyone. Bye.